Just fine. We're just going live now. I'm going to bring it up on my screen. Say hi in the chat box and let me know where you're from. And we'll get everything set up in just a moment as soon as this turns up. There we go. Okay. So, as you guys know, I gave you... Yeah, guys, we're starting right now. So in the comments, you can say... Oh, better turn the volume off. You say hello, tell me where you're from. Say hi there in the chat. So what we're going to do today, we're going to go over some of your questions that you asked on a video I did recently, where I asked you what questions for a 20,000 subscriber Q&A do you want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some of them today with you, and then I'm going to make a video answering some more. So I have 10 of your questions from that video's comment section, and then we're going to do a separate video to answer even more of them because we got a ton of comments. Someone in the chat, let me know if you can hear me. There we go. All right, people are starting. Okay, hey guys, what's up? What's up, Roberto? What do you need help with? Awesome. All right, so I'm going to wait for a few more people to come in here. Let's give it one more minute. Awesome. Get your questions ready. Let me know where you're from. Where are you watching this from? Okay, and then we'll get started on the first question. Canada, awesome. All right, so, hey, Flammable Llama, ask me that again at the end. I'm going to open it up to questions you guys have here at the end. So just remember that and ask me again at the end. All right, guys, cool. Albania, we got Mexico, Costa Rica, awesome. All right, Ohio, Antigua, no, I'm mispronouncing that. Portland, Oregon. What's up, man? Dream Chasers United. England, yeah, no, I know. It's midnight over in England right now. Getting ready for the Merseyside Derby tomorrow. I'll be watching that. All right, guys, so let's get started. So I have a few questions that you guys asked me from the video where I asked you guys what questions you want answered. I'm going to answer some of those here. I'm going to answer some more of them because I only have like 10 right now. I'm going to make another video answering a lot more of them. And then at the end, as usual, we will answer some of your questions from the chat, okay? So let's get to the first question. It's from Noah on YouTube, and it's, would you go to China and earn 700,000 something per week, I'm assuming pounds or dollars, or go to Chelsea but only play like 10 games in a whole season? Okay, that's an interesting question. Well, honestly, probably China, because I don't want to play only 10 games in the whole season. If you said, like, would you rather go to China and make whatever, Carlos Tevez type money, or would you rather play in like League 2 or the conference but play every game? I would choose that because ultimately I'd want to play. But if I was at, even a great team, let's say I was amazing and I was on Chelsea, if I only got to play 10 games in a season, that kind of sucks. And you didn't specify whether it's like substitute appearances or not. So to answer that, I would probably have to, if those are my only two choices, go to China. As long as I'm playing. If I'm playing in China, if I'm on the bench there too, I'm not so sure I would do that. All right, next question. Simon, do you think your tutorials have helped many viewers? I certainly hope they have. I've had people message me, comments, send me emails, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever, saying that they have, so I hope they have. And of course, as time goes along and I make more and more videos, I improve my video editing and improve the way that I make the videos. So hopefully, as time goes along, they're more and more helpful. All right? Next question, Soccer Skills Rex. Other than striker, what positions you play? What positions do you play? I've only played striker for the longest time now, but when I was younger, like a kid, maybe a teenager, I would play on the wing. I played center mid for a bit, attacking center mid and striker. Those were my positions. I never really played any defensive positions, except maybe when I was like 7, a coach put me at like left back for some reason. But that was about it. That was about the extent of my defensive duties. I played center defensive mid, oddly, a few years ago in like one game, and that didn't last long. Wasn't the best, but I got a good slide tackle in. And from the same person in soccer, what are your strengths? What are your strengths and weaknesses? For me personally, I think as far as my weaknesses go, I've always been bad with injuries, so I'm going to go ahead and say fitness, strength, things of those nature. But I get better at those, and then I keep getting injured, which kind of sucks. So I'd say it's a big weakness of mine. Another weakness is sometimes my decision making isn't the best. Like I'll have games where my decision making is really good. I pick the right option. Then I'll have other games where like I'll try like this silly pass that really should have happened, and then I should have played the simple pass. So sometimes that's one of my weaknesses. My strengths has always been finishing and goal scoring. That's why, for the most, like my college coach put me right up at striker. Most teams I'm on, I'm always striker, mainly because one of my main strengths is scoring. And I'd say another one is taking someone one-on-one. On weaknesses, speed is one of my weaknesses. Because although I'm able to take people one-on-one pretty effectively, if I don't then get a cross in, a shot off, or play the ball to a teammate, they catch up to me pretty quickly. So that's probably the extent of my strengths and weaknesses. There's a lot more, but I'd have to think about them, and I don't want to be sitting here in absolute silence. So we're not going to do that. Next question. Here's just like a kind of daily, everyday question from Jaffa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. What do you watch on Netflix? SimplySoccer. I actually don't watch Netflix or TV that much in general, but when I watch Netflix, I was watching that new series of Unfortunate Events series, and I also watch Archer a lot. Outside of that, I don't really watch. I'm trying to think of what else I watch. When Game of Thrones comes on again, definitely going to be watching that. 100%. Okay. Chicky Black, who I think's in the comments right now. So it says, why are you a fan of Liverpool? Because of their style of play, players, and so on. So I'm a fan of Liverpool because when I was, how old was I? Very young. My two favorite players in the world were Steven Gerrard and Michael Owen, because they were these young players coming up through the Liverpool Academy into the first team at a young age. And I just really looked up to them. Michael Owen, I loved because I was a striker. I played striker back then. I was a very diminutive and fast striker back when I was a kid, so I kind of looked up to him there. I'm also English, so I would watch the English national team, and just seeing Michael Owen like pop on the scene at like 18. I think he may have even had his debut before then, and scored that amazing goal against Argentina, which I don't know if some of you are even old enough to remember that, or if you remember that, it was amazing. Instantly fell in love with him then. And Steven Gerrard as well, when he was coming up through the system. Loved watching him play, loved his determination, and it kind of just manifested from there. It kind of just perpetuated, and I became a fan of Liverpool and just started following them. So it was probably since like the age of 5 or 6. I also liked Robbie Fowler, Steve McManaman before he left, and all these other players. So mainly it was because of the players on the team. That was mainly, that's how, and then just as I got older, I started getting way more into it and things like that. So next question. All right, we're getting through these pretty quickly, so have your questions ready in the comments because we're already halfway through these. I thought I would be spending a lot more time on it. From Football Editor, it says, what football club do you support? Liverpool. I think we established that. So I kind of answered 2 questions in one right there. I see you, mysterious hobo. We'll see. So what club do you support? It's Liverpool. Again, I've been supporting them since I was a kid. Hopefully, top 4 finish. Merseyside derby tomorrow for those of you who are in England. Can't wait to watch that. I think it's on at like 7:30 here, so like 12:30 over there in England. Next question. Astonishing ARJ says, at what time in your life did you start taking a full interest in football and soccer? I can't give you an exact day that I was like, I'm obsessed with football. It was ever since I was little. If you ask like my parents or friends, I was obsessed from a young age. Like I was super competitive when I was younger. Like I played other sports, but it just didn't give me that same satisfaction. I didn't have that same love for it. Like I played any kind of sport really. I was in America by the age of like 3 or 4. So they have basketball, football, American football, baseball was big when I was a kid. But I don't know. There was just something about them that I didn't like, and there was something I just loved about soccer. And so it was probably around like 5 or 6 that I really kind of noticed how much more obsessed with soccer I was than all these other sports, and I really just started really only wanting to play that. Like I used to go to multiple camps and stuff for different sports, and I think at one point told my parents, can I just go to soccer ones. I don't really want to do these other ones. So it was about at that point that I was like, yeah, soccer and nothing else really. And I did play other sports throughout my life. I played tennis for a bit, and that's about it. That's about it. Okay, so Phil asks, and this is the last one on the list, then we're going to get into your questions here. It's how do you manage to upload a video every single day, which is, actually, no, we got two more questions. Sorry, we got the question that's actually at the top here. How do you manage to upload a video every day? It's not easy. You have to really plan them out, and you have to schedule them. So every Sunday what I do is kind of towards evening, so I'll be doing this in a couple days, is I'll look at the list of suggestions you guys give me, and I'll look at like videos I've been wanting to create. Because whenever I think of an idea, I'm like, okay, maybe I can make a video out of that. Maybe, you know, people would want to see a video for that. If people are asking for a video a lot, then I'm like, okay, I should consider making one for that. So what I'll do is I'll just write out a few ideas, and then I'll get 7, and I'll have them all like listed down. These are the 7 I'm going to create. And then I'll usually shoot as much as I can on Monday, and then release a video on Monday as well. So that's usually a big day. So I'll do like, I won't do all the editing on Monday, but I'll do a lot of the shooting. So like 4 or 5 videos worth of shooting. So that takes a while. But the only reason I'm able to do that is because I already have the ideas and I have them all planned out. Like if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to do a video a day. I would go insane. So that's about it. You know, you just have to be really organized. And there are weeks where my organization isn't doing so well, and I struggle, but I still manage to do it. So when I have a good week, I plan them on Sunday. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I plan the scripts if I use scripts. Sometimes I don't make a script. If it's a topic I really like to like ad lib, like I know a lot about it already, like, or I want to just kind of let the information flow, I won't always write a script. I'll give myself like a checklist to make sure I go over certain things. But that's about it. As we're hitting spring, I'm going to have to change it up because I'm going to be going out and doing more demonstration videos, which means I'm going to have to figure out I'm going to have to go out there and do a bunch at the same time. I don't know if it's going to alter the schedule or not, but we'll see. Okay, and the final question is from Ivan. It says, did you ever try and go pro, and are you trying now? Yeah, sure. After college I tried, but I had a pretty severe injury, which is why I kind of left. But recently I actually, again, had an offer to go to a preseason. There's a professional team's spring preseason, but again, I was injured and wasn't able to do it. So right now, my main goal is I need to do something about my injury trouble. So I'm doing some like foundation training, kind of building up my body and doing injury prevention stuff, so then I can pursue it even harder, because it's no good kind of like building up your fitness level a little bit and then getting injured, and then you're like, okay, well, we'll just try again, and then building it up and then getting injured. So now I'm being very deliberate, very slow, and deliberate about it, very planned, so that I don't do anything stupid and injure myself again, because I don't want another opportunity to come along or seek out another opportunity like a tryout only for me not able to do it because I'm injured. So essentially, yeah. So yes to your question. Okay, let's get into some of your questions here. That was very quick. Was it quick? Okay, yeah, it was very quick. So I'm going to answer some of your questions now. The best way for you to get my attention is put hashtag SimplySoccer or at SimplySoccer or something that it's easier for me to kind of see what you're saying. So let me find one here. Here's a good one. Steve LB, the lava bucket. How do I play in tight indoor places? I'm assuming you mean like tight spaces in an indoor match. I love indoor because it forces you to play quickly. It forces you to take, fewer touches, like if you've ever played futsal, but it also forces you to express yourself, because you're going to find yourself in tight space where you're not going to be able to pass, where you're not going to be able to get out of trouble. Sometimes there's a lack of fluidity to indoor soccer unless you have like two really good teams going up against each other. But I love playing in tight space because it teaches you how to escape those kind of situations. It teaches you, to check where the space is, to move into it. It teaches you to play quick. So really the best thing to do is to learn to play quick. Be aware of what's around you. That'll help you to play quicker. And, with indoor, since it's not like, usually they're not like serious leagues. I mean, they're serious in the sense if you want to win, but it's not usually your main season. Have fun with it and express yourself. Like a lot of my skills that I developed I developed during high school, during indoor season, because it was a great platform to try out many of the moves I wanted to work on, a great platform to try out many of the things I was doing in training. So one of the things I would say with indoor is use it to experiment, use it to, figure out how to get out of tight spaces, use it to play quicker, use it for all those things. But essentially, to answer your question, to get out of those tight spaces, you need to play quicker. For one, you need to keep moving around, finding the space, and sometimes you're going to have to try and escape the space with a move or something else. Okay. Let me see. Let me get another question here. So we have a few people. Okay, Flammable Llama. I need help. I'm joining an academy this year in the summer. 5-day camping trip to Scouts will be there. Any tips? That's not very specific, man. Like, if you ever take a look at the video how to become a standout soccer player on my channel, that'll give you a lot of stuff on how to improve. If you have like a specific area that I can quickly give you some tips on, I could, but I could dive in like hours into like this kind of thing, but that wouldn't really help you. So actually look up the video how to become a standout soccer player. It should be on the channel. There's 2 parts. It's long. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a long video, but it should provide you with a lot of answers and ideas of how to keep getting better. Marco Polo, I think that says, yeah, what do you think of people that lack confidence in soccer or haters that put them down? So of people who lack confidence, I think there's many of them who don't admit it, who are out there. I mean, and I don't think anything badly of players who don't have. I mean, I was a player like that for years where I lacked confidence in my game and my belief. And what I would say to players who lack that confidence is to recognize that you can build that confidence that you're looking for. Like, confidence is a skill, and I go over this in many videos, so I'm not going to go too deep into this, but confidence is a skill you develop, and ways to develop it are changing your self-image, belief systems that you have about yourself, practicing to a point where you can do things really, really well. Competence builds confidence, and there are many other practices you can do, but my thoughts on it are simply, I kind of have some empathy towards them because I was like that as well. So recognize that to get confident, it's like if you go out and practice your shooting, you're not going to get good at shooting if you only go like once every week or once every 2 weeks to go practice your shooting. It's the same with confidence. You have to practice your confidence, So if you are not confident, look up some videos, look up some, techniques you can do, look up like whatever you need to do, and then keep doing it. Again, it's like any other skill. You have to keep doing it. Okay, and haters, what I think of haters is, it's kind of twofold. It's one, just ignore them. You're going to get them. I get them with the channel. I've gotten them throughout my whole life. Almost everyone has haters. Even the haters have haters. That's usually why they're haters, right? Someone told them they couldn't do it, they believed it, and then they go and tell other people that they can't do it because they don't want to. So, I mean, I feel, again, bad for them because there are really very few haters who are actually doing anything to make themselves, do their own thing. There are very few that are actually... there are very few haters who are bringing down other players who then themselves are actually trying to become really good, if that makes sense. So, you can always sympathize in that way by saying, if someone's hating on you, there's something going on with them that's causing them to do that. Either someone else put them down, brought, their dreams to their knees or whatever. So for that reason, I feel kind of bad. Second thing is I just try and ignore them. Sometimes it gets to me. Everyone's gonna have a moment where someone says something and it just gets to you, right? But for the most part, you just try and ignore them. It's the only really thing you can do. And if honestly, if you really want to overcome them, become better, become successful. And then as they're kind of just sitting here making fun of people and hating on people, you're continually getting better, right? It's easy, let me put it this way, it's easy to be a hater. It's the easiest thing in the world to be. You can go on YouTube and hate on someone's videos. You can go on to a teammate and say you suck. You can bully someone. It's the easiest thing to do. But it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do, nor should you do it. Work on improving yourself, not on hating on others. Okay. Bass Camera, any tips on a daily routine to become a better soccer player? Okay, actually, cool that you mentioned this. We just released what's called a 30-day challenge, which is starting tomorrow. So, Bass, if you, or Bass, I don't know if that's even your real name, but your username, look on the channel, and one of the latest videos, probably the latest video, is the Passing and Receiving 30-day challenge. Watch that video, select a level, and then have at it, man. 30 days of improving this area, and passing and receiving in the way we're going to be practicing it is a area of your game that can improve many different other areas as well. Okay, so one of the things is going to be consistency, but with this challenge, I only ask you to do it 10 to 20 minutes a day. Okay, and once you build up that self-discipline to do that, it's going to filter into other areas of your life as well, and your game. So, whoops, what did I do there? Okay, let's get another question here. Okay, I'm a Become Pro says, I'm a lefty and I don't know which position I should play, left wing or right wing, because I play right wing, I can cut in and shoot, or left wing, I can cross and shoot sometimes. The easiest answer is, man, I honestly, if I'm coaching a team or if I'm like in a team, I like to have my left-footed wingers on the right side. I like that ability to cut in, have wingers cut in, and then like thread a ball in or take a shot. The thing you have to get used to doing, you have to train your weak foot. You need to be able to cross with your right. So whatever you need to do that, go out and practice as much as you need to in order to get good at that. But one thing you can do is you can also cut in and cross. Become good at that technique. If you're not able to do it with your weak foot, a great solution is to cut in and cross and whip that ball in towards the penalty spot between the 6-yard box like that. And that's a very hard ball to defend if you do it right as well. Because if someone's crashing in towards the goal, you see those free kicks where they won't do an in-swinger, they'll do it like this. And they're very hard to defend when done right. So that's kind of a solution you can do until you get your right foot to a point where you can use it. It's just cut inside and then cross in. I mean, your attackers have to be making the runs, but that can be very dangerous because the goalkeeper's not going to know, should I come for it, should I not? Someone just needs to get a flick on it. You're already putting the pace on the ball, meaning it just needs a touch and someone can score. So that's one thing you can do. Okay, let's go. All right, I'm going to go to some newer questions. All right, so Daniel, I can't tell what, Daniel Hatch, I think it says, I made a traveling team, but I didn't make it to go to my first tournament. What do you think can help? So I think what you're saying is you made the team, but they only had a certain number of players they could take with them and they didn't take you. Well, I mean, the biggest thing you can do in a situation when you're cut from a team, when you go to tryouts and don't make it, when a coach loses faith in you or doesn't play you, is you got to just work your ass off. I mean, there's really no other solution to it. There isn't some magical thing you can do. You just got to keep getting better and better and better. Now, there'll be times when there are coaches who maybe treat you unfairly or don't play you when you deserve it, but it does you no good to think like that, because I don't want you to think like, oh, my coach has it in for me. The best thing you can always do is work hard, stay consistent, keep improving, keep moving forward, be persistent, work on your weaknesses, strengthen your strengths, and if you work harder than everyone else, you will get your rewards from that, okay? So let's see what else. Hey, what's up, Rashid Thomas? It says, do you watch Michael Laudrup? This guy is the right-footed Messi. How is he not considered a better than Garrincha or Zidane and those other players? He does everything perfect. Laudrup. Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about. He played for if it's who I think you're talking about. You're talking about Barcelona. Was he Danish? I think he was Danish. Yeah, he was incredible. I wouldn't call him the right-footed Messi, but he was definitely, I remember watching a video of him recently and thinking, why isn't this guy more talked about? I kind of feel like the same with players like Bergkamp as well. But yeah, no, Michael Laudrup, yeah, he was, so assuming you're saying yes for him being Danish. Yeah, he's incredible. His passing and vision is insane. His technique was insane. I don't know why he's mentioned. I honestly don't know why he's not mentioned in the same breath of those great players. I don't think he's at the level of Messi or Pele or Garrincha. Maybe not even Zidane, but he's kind of almost there. He's close, and he definitely should get more recognition than he does. And actually, to be completely transparent, I think he was manager of Swansea for a little bit. Was it Swansea? It was some Premier League team. And before he'd become manager of them, I had no idea who he was. That's how unrecognized he is. And I definitely think he deserves the recognition. Actually, there's a great video on him. I think Heil RJ or something, that really big YouTuber who does football compilations. He made like a 10-minute video of Laudrup. It's really good. Check it out. It's amazing. Okay. So let's see. Yes, that's right. It was Swansea. Okay. All right. Rusty Craft asks how to improve heading. Okay. A lot of heading comes down to your timing, which may sound strange, but once you have like the technique of heading down, moving into the ball, kind of putting your body behind it, that part you can just work on and practice and is easy. The harder part about heading is timing it, because if you jump a little too soon, it's gonna not go where you want it, and if you jump too late, obviously you're gonna miss it. I can't really explain it. Maybe I'll do a video on it because that's kind of an interesting topic, but it all comes in the timing of it. You need to be strong if there's someone on you, because you will get pushed and shoved, and maybe you will get a foul, maybe not, but you have to time it correctly. And I don't know how. I'm trying to think of some advice I can give to time it correctly, but it really just comes from experience. If you're talking about goal scoring while heading, a lot of what I've found is, especially if it's like from a cross, most of the headers I've scored have come from redirection. I haven't necessarily tried to produce a ton of power from it. I've tried to redirect it. But definitely a question I should look more into. Okay, let's see what else we got here. How to be more aggressive. And the question's gone, but we'll answer it, so I don't know who asked it. How to be more aggressive is, I think aggression is more of a mindset than a physical thing. It is physical, but it's not like the strongest players are the most aggressive. N'Golo Kante, for example, is an incredibly aggressive player who's very physical, but he's a tiny guy, isn't he? I'm probably incredibly muscular, but he is, even in the face of like these bigger players, is incredibly aggressive. It's a mindset. You have to want to be aggressive. If you're timid, you have to try and teach yourself to just go in 100%. Never go into a tackle 50, 60, 70, 80%. In fact, that's actually one way to get yourself injured. You got to be fully committed when going in. Be aggressive. Recognize that this is a sport, and it's nothing personal. When you go aggressive in someone or you tackle them well, it's nothing personal. Once the game is over, you've left it all on the field. I mean, if you've ever watched a professional match and waited till the end, you'll see players who were like slide tackling into each other and crunching each other aggressively, shaking hands and putting their arms around each other at the end of the match and swapping shirts, right? Because it's all part of the game. So if you're not being aggressive because you're afraid to, rustle some feathers or whatever, or get someone angry, don't worry about that. It's a part of the game. It's expected, and you don't want to be a player who's timid, because that's just going to prevent you from, playing well. So, okay, let's get another one. Let's see, I see one here. Alphabet Duck. I'm 14 in the UK, and one of the worst in a D3 team. Okay, it's moving away from me. Hold on, I'm going to find your question because it's moving away. Ah, crap. Never. Hold on a sec. All right. I want to go pro, and it will be hard getting into the system. Any advice for when I am a better player on how I can get into the system? So, Alphabet Duck. So, admittedly, I know the system a little better here in the States. I don't know it so much in England. If you're talking like the academy system, it would be a little easier. Obviously, if you were... I know they go after like really young kids and bring them into the academies. But honestly, if you're good enough, you'll be... So just keep working on your game and start dominating. You said you're Division 3. Start dominating your matches. Start figuring out ways that you can stand out. Because if you can become a standout player in whatever division, it will always give some kind of cause for you to move up divisions. And you keep climbing that ladder. I mean, just look at a player... in recent memory, you go Antonio for West Ham and Jamie Vardy for Leicester and Gray, I think, for Burnley. These were all players who were playing non-league football at, a pretty, not advanced age, but Jamie Vardy was playing non-league football in his 20s. Same with Antonio, I think Gray as well. So it's not impossible if you're good enough and you can get yourself in front of those people and you keep playing well consistently, it can always happen. Now, you're only 14. You're actually still pretty young. A lot can happen in a year or two if you put in the work. So the biggest thing I would say is, make sure you're working on your game individually. Make sure you're working on the right stuff. I don't know what position you are. Work on position-specific stuff, game-specific things. And you'll be surprised. Again, you're only 14. That's not to say you shouldn't work your ass off, keep improving, keep getting better, keep setting new goals, but don't worry if you're in like a lower division right now. You work hard enough, again, a lot can change in a year. A lot can change in 2 years, and you'll only be 15, 16 at that point. So keep working as hard as you possibly can. I don't know enough about the system to kind of give you advice on how to get in there. I don't know. I know there's like exit trials and things like that for released players, but I don't know enough. So I would just say my advice is to you is just keep working hard, keep being consistent, keep improving. Don't get lazy with it, and then you'll have the chance to do it. Okay. Who was a better player, Ronaldo or Beckham? Ronaldo. Ronaldo, to me at least. Okay, so let's see. Let's answer a few more. What are we at? 7:30. Okay. All right. I'm a younger player. Could you talk about how to go pro in the States? That's too broad, man. That's too broad. I can try. Like, the biggest way in the States at the moment, although actually they're getting better with academies, which is cool because when I was younger, they didn't have academies. That's kind of a new thing the MLS teams are doing. The main way it seems in the States is to go through the college system, get into a good college, go through the draft. But that's not the only way. There are new leagues in America developing all the time. Like there's the USL, and then is the NASL? Or there's so many of them that are professional. There's also the ASL, which is another professional league. So that's 4 tiers already, and there might even be a 5th one. There's the Major Indoor Soccer League. There's a lot of different things. So one way, the way I got my chance with a pro team a few years ago was through one of my college coaches. Building connections is one of the best ways to get yourself in a team. Now, you need to be serious about it. Like, coaches are not going to recommend players they don't think are serious or aren't that good to these professional teams. But in America, a lot of it, I'm probably the same in other countries, is going to be a lot of it is contacts. So start developing contacts, get in contact with coaches. If you have a club team coach, maybe he can help you out. For me, it was my college coach. But yeah, the biggest way probably in America is through the college system right now. But things are always changing. Like, it's getting bigger and bigger here. More leagues are popping up. Again, there's like 4 tiers, I think, of professional soccer that I can think of. So it's up and coming. So I can't really go too much more in depth right now, but maybe I can make a video at some point. Okay, let's answer a few more questions. And then we will, for 4th, 2, 3, 1, I have a video playlist that has indoor soccer drills or something. Take a look at those videos. They give you some drills you can do indoors. Oh, 2 girls like soccer players. Okay. How do I control my emotions better during a game? I notice that sometimes I tend to get really frustrated. This is something, again, that comes with... Actually, I can relate. I used to be one of the angriest players who would get super frustrated when I made a mistake. It was a confidence thing for me. Like, I would make a mistake and I'd get so mad at myself or so down at myself. And I'm better at it now, and it just comes with practice. By telling yourself things like, you have to start telling yourself things like when you make a mistake, that it's not the end of the world, you'll get the next one. I know that sounds silly now, but that seriously will help over time. When you get angry, you just kind of have to check yourself for a moment. And you think emotion's okay. Let's first and foremost say it's okay to get angry, it's okay to get frustrated as long as it doesn't affect your performance in a negative way. There are players that use their anger to play better. I mean, you have to be careful because you don't want to then go studs up into someone's leg, but there are players who use their emotion and redirect it into playing better. So that's something you can try immediately. If you're getting angry, don't think of it as like a thing that's going to affect you negatively. Try and redirect it into more energy or playing better or doing better next time or proving to yourself that you're not going to make that mistake again, something of that nature. Getting control of your emotions is... I still blow up sometimes, but even though I'm better at it now, it's not something that just goes away by itself. It is something you have to work on. So again, monitoring your thoughts, what is causing you to get frustrated? Is it you made a mistake? Is it you lost or something of that nature? And you just need to approach it differently. So for example, if I made a mistake, I used to think it was the end of the world. I had to change that thought in order to stop getting so down when I made a mistake. Right? So if I make a mistake now, I recognize that I'm going to make plenty of mistakes in matches, and that if I get down about this mistake, it's not going to help me in the next situation, right? So that's one thing you can do. And look at confidence stuff as well, because higher confidence allows you to get over anger and mistakes and frustration even more. Okay. We're going to do 2 more questions, so let's get them. Have you scored a big goal and got laid after? I'm not going to answer that. All right, keep them coming. Keep them coming. All right, now there's a lot going. No, I have not seen the strange way he tackles. I haven't watched him too much. For Napoli, right? I'll have to take a look at him. Technique for... All right, it's not a question, but soccer kids, look up the video, how to shoot a soccer ball with power and accuracy from far. That'll give you all the shooting technique stuff that you need, okay? Okay, how can I improve my speed and think faster on the ball and make the right play? So that's a lot of questions all at once. So speed is going to come from many different things. There are many different things you can do, like plyometric drills. One of the best ways to improve your speed is to practice your speed. It's to practice your running. This is something that I think seems to get overlooked. The way you improve really anything is you need to hit what's called homeostasis. Don't laugh at that, it's real. You have to hit that, which means your max capacity, and you have to keep pushing beyond that to get to a new level. If you keep doing things you're comfortable at, you're never going to move beyond that, if that makes sense. So you need to keep pushing yourself. So if you want to get faster, you need to, be pushing yourself to your max often. Again, you need time for recovery and all that, but if you want to improve your speed, practice your sprinting a lot at a warm up and all that first. Don't injure yourself. Practice your full out sprints and keep doing that. If you want other things you can do, plyometric drills will give you that quick burst to make you, get up to top speed quicker. If it's agility you're looking for, there are things like ladder drills. Actually, some plyometric stuff will help you with that as well. There's a lot out there. And the best thing, for you to probably do is, again, look up a video that's going to show you specifically what these are. But again, another great one is just practicing your sprints, getting your technique right as well. That'll actually help you get a little faster, and that'll help you along. Okay. All right, I'm going to get one more. So let's see a few more questions. Again, guys, put them in there again because... let's see what we got here. All right, here's a good one. All right, here's 2 good ones. So from 4231, it says, I'm one of the best players on my team. How do I challenge myself? Challenging, that's actually a good question because a lot of players hit what's called a plateau where you feel like you're not improving. And if you're one of the best players on your team, sometimes it can take away your motivation because a lot of times players get better through competition. There's this player on this team that's a little bit better than you and you want to become better than him, or just this player on another team, you want to just get to their level and become better. So it's easy to lose motivation at that point. You have to learn to self-motivate and self-discipline. Now, one of the best ways to keep getting better is to set goals. And that may sound very simplistic, but it's the truth. You need to be setting goals because you need to know where you are currently. So you're good. You're one of the best on your team, let's say. So you know where you are. You have to know pretty much where do you want to go. If this is not clear, then you just stay here. If you don't know where you want to go, what level you want to get at or whatever, because your mind is incredible, your body is incredibly adaptable, meaning if you have where you are and you have where you want to get to, you will be able to do it if you put in the work. One of my favorite stories is, if any of you have heard of Roger Bannister, we're about to go a little off topic here, but kind of not. So Roger Bannister, before him, no one had ever run a 4-minute mile before, and everyone thought it was impossible. But Roger Bannister didn't believe that. He thought it was possible, and eventually, to make a long story short, beat the 4-minute mile. Now, the incredible thing is, after he beat it, in the next 2 years, 32 other people beat it. It came down to the belief system. So you need to have where you are right now, where you want to go, and you need to have that motivation as well. If you believe you're just going to stay at this level, you'll stay at this level. So what are your goals? Do you want to play on a better team? Do you want to play like a college team, a pro team, what are they? Even if it's unrealistic, set that goal, and then you can fill all this space to get there. It's going to be a little frustrating if you've plateaued, if you think you've plateaued. But if, like, for example, I'm trying to think of a good example that makes sense. Let's say you can only hit 100 juggles at juggling, and you believe you can only hit that. That's pretty low. But let's say that's it. If you believe that and you don't set a goal to get higher, it's going to be hard to ever go past that goal. I feel like I'm actually not explaining this well, but just start setting goals, start setting objectives that you want to reach. You can make them unrealistic, but if you know where you are right now and you know where you want to go, you can find a way there if you work hard enough. Okay. So let's go one more, and it says, one sec. One more, guys. Oh. Okay, PMB, how to become a leader in my team. Okay, so there's a few ways. I mean, my favorite leaders, the people that I look up to, whether from a footballing perspective or just a everyday life kind of thing, are the ones who lead by example. You know, many people can talk a big game, but very few actually go out and perform. You know, one of my favorite players, like I mentioned, was Steven Gerrard. Now, he wasn't always the most vocal player. You know, he actually came off as a bit timid and shy and stuff in interviews and things like that. So he wasn't like that in-your-face kind of Roy Keane type leader, or what's another, like a Ronaldo or whatever. He was more of a show lead through example. I think this is something every leader, I think, should have, is a leading through example type of player. This means you're showing your commitment on the field. You're working hard. You know, you're not just in games, like in practices. You're the first to show up, the last to leave. You're the one who's working the hardest in training to improve yourself individually. You know, people, I think, think that leadership comes strictly from being loud or communication, and that can be important. Like the way you direct your troops, so to speak, can be very important, but it all comes through example. And one of the best kind of analogies for this, or one of the best sayings I've heard is, you know, a boss is someone who commands people and tells them what to do. A leader is showing people what to do. So you can think of it, a boss is like directing people, saying you do that, you do that, while a leader is in the trenches, is among the rest of the team doing the work. Okay? So if you want to become more of a leader, show your commitment, work hard, and you got to keep doing it. A leader has to be that person who's always committed, who does the right things, and all of that. Again, you can be vocal, you know, you can lead in that manner. People have different leading styles, but to me, the best leaders are always the ones that lead through example. Okay. Whew. All right. I think we're going to end it there, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. How to score more goals. Andre, look on the channel and look up how to score more goals in soccer. I have some videos on that. So there you go. There's your question answered. I'm going to stop it there. I did answer that question earlier, so if you want to look at the replay, it is on there. We're going to end it there. Getting pretty tired here. Thank you so much for tuning in to the live stream. Again, we do these every Friday. We should have a new video out tomorrow. And guys, if you haven't already, check out the 30-day challenge we just released on the channel. We are starting it tomorrow. I appreciate you guys coming on live with me tomorrow. I hope you're all going to be watching the Merseyside Derby tomorrow, cheering for Liverpool, I hope. And I'll see you guys later. This is going to be weird because I got to get up and turn this off. All right, guys, take care as I figure out I can't figure out how to turn this off. How do I turn this off? Oh, there it is. Okay.